Hey there, it's Lenny Magill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop right here in San Diego, California, and soon to be Nashville, Tennessee. And most of you know that we're building a new facility in Nashville, which has put me on the road a bunch. I'm back and forth to Nashville from San Diego all the time. In fact, I'm flying almost every other week. And when I'm in the airport and I'm flying, I'm traveling around, sometimes we fly to Dallas, sometimes we fly to different places and then go to Nashville, sometimes we fly direct. But inevitably, when I'm in the airport, someone comes up to me and says, hey, you're that Glock guy. And we start talking if we have time, if we're waiting for the plane, and we start talking a little bit. And usually we'll get around to a question that I hear a lot. And I hear it on the phone when I talk to people, and I hear it, like I said, a lot of times in the airport when I'm talking to people if we have some time, they say, well, what's the most important things I can do to my Glock? What's the most important thing I should do? I just bought a brand new Glock. What should I do? And I've got a list, that I usually start with. And so what I've decided to do is to do a video here. For those of you who don't have time to sit down and talk to me at the airport, you can watch this in segments. There's 5 top upgrades that I feel are really important to make you get the most out of your Glock and to make your Glock give you the most accuracy, the most reliability, the most ergonomic feel, and really the best experience with your Glock. So this is my video on the top 5 upgrades for your Glock. All right, the first upgrade, the absolute most important thing you can do for your Glock, in my mind, is to replace the plastic guide rod that comes with the factory Glock with one of our tungsten, our super heavy tungsten guide rods. This is it right here. This is probably the most important thing you can do for accuracy, for feel, for general ergonomics, and just plain shooting of the gun, because the tungsten guide rod helps reduce recoil and makes it a softer shooter gun in your hand. So there's 2 things I'm talking about: recoil, how it feels, and recoil, which is the muzzle flip. So there's really kind of 2 animals there when you talk about recoil. How does it respond in your hand, and then the muzzle flip. Now the Glock, because it has a plastic guide rod and the frame is plastic, because of those 2 things, what happens when the gun shoots and the slide comes back, all that action of that weight coming back will make the gun tip up a little bit. And even with a great grip, it's still going to have a little bit of tip. And a lot of people who are right-handed will see the gun flip off to this way because, again, here's your holding it here, over here. You're a little bit more dominant with your right hand. Typically, we see the gun flip a little bit off to the left if you're right-handed. Right if you're left-handed, okay? So the tungsten guide rod, now get the concept here, is a dead weight under the slide and under the barrel. Because it's a dead weight, because it's not moving, it helps dampen a lot of that muzzle flip and certainly helps the feel of how the gun feels in your hand as far as the felt recoil. Now, we make them for all different Glocks. Literally, for the Glock 43, Glock 43X, Glock 48, all the way up to your Glock 17, Glock 19, Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5. We make them all because it is probably, in my mind, the #1 upgrade that you can do for your Glock. And I will tell you that you're gonna see, if you watch any of the videos that we have that are associated with the tungsten guide rod in particular, you'll see people who are customers who have shot it before and after, and their group sizes go from here to here, just like that. They're shooting really, really fast, and that's what the tungsten guide rod can do for you. Because it helps reduce recoil and muzzle flip, it can tighten your groups and make you a better shooter. So if you're a competition shooter, it's an absolute must. And speaking of that, we have a couple different versions. One is the standard length, for your standard guns. For the G34, the long slide, we actually have what we call as our extended guide rod. And see how it sticks out all the way to the barrel? So that adds a little extra weight that will help reduce recoil and muzzle flip even more. So the #1 upgrade you can do for your Glock, in my opinion, is the tungsten guide rod. Let's move on. Okay, #2 on my list of the top 5 upgrades is the extended controls package. Now there's several items here that are related to extended controls. And I will show you on this gun here. The extended controls we're talking about are the extended slide lock, also known as the takedown lever. That's a slide lock. The extended slide stop, also known as a slide release, and the extended magazine catch or magazine release button. Those three items are sold individually and sometimes as a set on our website. They're available in different colors. This obviously is a silver type look because it's the silver and black gun. These three items allow you to operate the gun more efficiently. And that means you do not have to adjust your grip to operate the controls, whether it be a magazine release button, whether it be the slide stop lever, also the slide release, keep that in mind. So the slide lock is a relatively inexpensive item, and it does really help you in the disassembly, reassembly of the particular slide. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Now, what's interesting about the slide lock, they're available in different colors, like I said. Here it is in gold, and of course, black is going to be your most popular, but we do match colors in red, blue, and all kinds of other different colors for the slide lock. The slide stop is an item that you use a lot, especially if you're a competition shooter, to lock the slide back or to allow it to go forward. If you put a magazine in and we want to put that forward fast, it's nice to have a larger lever. You can see the extended slide stop has a little nub on it that allows you to get a better grip on it. Now, the magazine release button. These are a no-brainer in my mind. If you look at the factory magazine release button, you're going to see that it's very small, it's very sharp, and it's difficult to manipulate without adjusting your grip. By adjusting your grip, you're going to adjust your accuracy. If you then go back to your normal grip, not only does it take time, but you won't have the same consistent grip. Accuracy is related to consistency of your grip. So if your grip is changing throughout a course of fire, your accuracy is going to change as well. All right, so it's very important that you understand that the magazine release button is not just cosmetic. Certainly looks cool. We've got them in different flavors and different styles. Here's one of our checkered magazine release buttons. Get in there close, you can see the checkering. There you go. And you know, we've got different shapes as well. We've got a teardrop shape. We've got a checkered shape. We've also, you know, for those of you who are kind of purists and just want an extended version, we just have a standard extended version as well. Not quite as effective as the pad that we give you here, but certainly better than the original factory. I will say that if you operate this a lot, the plastic version that comes with the gun, it will tear your thumb up. I mean, just it's that simple. These are much more comfortable to operate. All the extended controls allow you to become a safer, more accurate shooter, as well as just more confident because you can manipulate the controls without any hesitation. So that's on number 2 of my list, is the extended controls for your Glock. Let's move on. All right, number 3 is without a doubt probably one of my favorite items that we make and sell and install into Glocks. It's our pyramid trigger. It really is the world's best adjustable trigger for your Glock. And there's a reason for it, because 1, it's made in the USA. 2, it really helps you shorten the stroke of the trigger. And 3, you can lighten the trigger based upon the adjustable springs and based upon what you're doing. So we've got springs anywhere from 6 to 4 to 3 to 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds. Right in between there, you can go ahead and adjust your trigger to be exactly what you want it to be for your particular use, whether it be self-defense, whether it be home defense, whether it be competition shooting. We've got exactly what you need to provide you with a trigger that will give you better accuracy and better speeds. Now, let's talk about the pyramid trigger for a minute. Of course, we basically take a factory trigger bar and we polish it, and then we go ahead and we coat it into, should I say, a titanium nitride. And the titanium nitride is a friction-free, not free, but has less friction than standard steel. It's a coating that allows the metal-to-metal contact to be very smooth. So we not only do that, but we also then replace the factory connector with our 3.5 pound connector, which is the double diamond 3.5 pound connector that's coated in MP3. So the combination of these two items give you a very smooth trigger pull, and the fact that we shorten the stroke of the trigger pull allows it to be lighter and shorter. Now, what does that mean to you at the end of the day? Well, it means that you will have better accuracy, because the shorter the stroke of the trigger, the better accuracy, because you're less likely, now here it is, less likely to disturb the sight picture as you pull the trigger. So this is a pyramid trigger. It's black and silver, just a standard Gen 3 trigger. The stroke is shorter, as you can see, and it's lighter. Now the reset is also shorter. So pay attention to the stroke. Right here you go. Ready? And I'm going to left-handed, so it's right there. Okay, I don't have a long trigger pull. Because of that, again, I'm less likely to disturb the sights as I pull the trigger, especially when shooting multiple shots at either the same target or a different target. So if I'm doing double taps, they go much faster than going, and the gun will have a tendency to stay on target because I'm not yanking on the trigger. Now, it's easy to say, well, I don't do that because, I take my time. But when you're shooting a lot of rounds in a course of fire, say 20 rounds or say 10 or 12 different targets, what you're going to find is that your finger will, over time, become a little bit, fatigued by pulling on that long trigger. And because of that, you start to incorporate other muscles in your fingers and your hands, and then your whole hand is squeezing and the gun is moving ever so slightly, but that does affect your accuracy. So while a lot of people get the sights lined up properly, as they pull the trigger, they're just pulling it just slightly off, and they're seeing at the target downrange misses. And they go to themselves, well, gosh, it looked like it was good. What happened? Well, a lot of that comes with the trigger pull. So the less trigger pull you have, the less distance, and the lighter it is, the less likely you're going to disturb the sight picture as the gun goes bang. And that's what the pyramid trigger is all about. Of course, it's machined here in the USA out of billet aluminum, aircraft grade aluminum. This is our flat face trigger. You can see the difference. Okay, this is black, red, and silver. And then here's one actually installed. This is actually my gun. And there's black, red, and black. Or red, black, red. That's what that is. So, same thing. Shorter stroke, shorter reset. Because it's a shorter reset, I can manipulate that trigger faster. Because I can manipulate the trigger faster, I can shoot faster. Just that simple. So, all of our competition shooters are using the pyramid trigger because it really does work. It does improve your scores, it improves your speeds, it improves your accuracy. The pyramid trigger is probably one of the most popular things we sell. It's third on my list because it's more expensive. And so for those of you who are just getting into this thing, obviously number one, number two are really easy ins. But if you want the best of the best, it's the pyramid trigger for your Glock. Let's move on. Number 4 in our list of the top upgrades for your Glock, without a doubt, the sights. The Glock factory sights that come with a gun are plastic. They're okay. They work okay, all right? But if you're looking to improve your Glock, I'm going to say really it's upgrade the sights. I mean, it's a no-brainer. We sell literally, I would say, everybody's sights. We have all the top manufacturers. We have all the brand new ones. I mean, there's 100 of them, literally, that you could choose from. So the objective is, what is your purpose? What do you want to do, and what do you like? So I'm going to give you 2 suggestions, maybe 3 suggestions that will be some of the top and most popular things we sell. But obviously go on the website. I think I've got individual videos for a lot of the different sites, and I'm still doing them because we still get new ones all the time. So they're coming, but I would say that if you're looking to get better accuracy, you're looking to have a better experience, replace the plastic factory sights with a steel night sight. Okay, and the night sights are basically they're sights with tritium tubes embedded into them that give you a sight picture in the dark, because the tritium glows for 10 years. So because of that, you can look in real close here, you'll see those little dots. They become, they glow at night green. And then on the front sight, way down there, you'll see that has a red piece around it. I got a little bit of goo on there. And because of that red, it's actually perfect during the day, but at nighttime, the dot actually shines and glows green. What's interesting about the night sights is that you really don't see how bright they are until your eyes get accustomed to the dark. So if you're in a dark environment and your eyes get accustomed to the dark and you look down, all of a sudden the sights just pop out. If you just go from a light into a dark room real quickly and you look at the sights and go, they're not that bright. But give yourself a chance to have your eyes adjust to the darkness, and you'll see how bright those are. Just kind of like looking at the sun, or excuse me, at the stars at nighttime. If you stay outside for a little bit of time and you're in an area where there's not a whole lot of ambient light coming from street lights and all that, and you look up, the stars are just bang, they pop out. Same thing with these sights, they do the same exact thing. The ones that I'm going to recommend to you, I just showed you briefly here. This is the Trijicon HD. And Trijicon, of course, is a great company. All right, and the HD sight, what I like about them, and especially for me at this age, is that they have a wider U in the back and a larger front post. And the larger front post gives you something to see right away. Now, these are fast acquisition, close quarter combat sights. When I say close quarter, 10, 15 yards max. They're not precision sights, and they're not designed to give you, that precision sight picture out to 50 yards. They're designed for a fast shooting at close distances and going from target to target, because you can keep your eye on that big fat red dot. The other sights that we sell a ton of are these TFOs. They're the True Glow tritium fiber optics, and we sell more of these for Glocks than anybody in the world. And True Glow told us that. They gave us a little plaque for that at the SHOT Show one year. And it's really cool too, because this technology gives you the tritium for night sights, but also during the day they have the fiber optics, hence the word TFO, tritium fiber optics. So that's the TFO concept. Now they're available in a couple different configurations. There's the TFO and the TFX, and there's a TFX Pro. But the tritium glows at nighttime, and the fiber optic gathers and magnifies available light so that during the day they're super bright. And these are a great price point as far as the price point goes. They're right around $100 or so. So I love these sights. We sell a ton of them. They're really good. A lot of competition shooters will use these, but they'll also use the True Glow, the Trijicon HDs. And then we have a whole bunch of other sights that people use. So really, it's up to you to determine. Now, while we're talking about sights, I do want to introduce you to one other concept. What's really super hot right now is a red dot. And so we sell a ton of different red dots, all the different manufacturers. This is the Holosun. This is really cool because it's got a solar panel on top of it. It has a circle dot technology, which is really neat. This particular mount we have with a rear sight and front sight raised. These are the suppressor size raised sights, so you can see them through the glass of the sight. So you have the best of both worlds. You have iron sights if you so desire, and then you have your red dot. Now they see that red dot in there. It obviously gets blown out by the camera. But the bottom line is, red dot optics, and that's the Holosun. Here's another version of that. This is the Leopold, okay? Same concept, a little bigger window, okay? The Leopold is one of the top of the line. Holosun's a very good brand. We sell a lot of different brands of red dot optics. The idea behind a red dot optic is a single point. You don't have to line up the sights. You just put that dot on the target, and squeeze the trigger. It's a lot faster than traditional iron sights. And once you get used to it, because it does take a little bit of time, you will find your scores, your speeds increasing, and you will be really a faster, more accurate shooter with a red dot optic than with iron sights. And I say that because all the top shooters in the world who are at the top level of competition, who are in the open classes, will shoot a red dot optic. So that said, that's another way to go to improve the sights of your Glock. And we've got a lot of different options on how to mount these. So check out the website or give us a call and we can help you determine which sights you want to get. And now, let's go on to number 5. All right, number 5 is our last improvement in the group of 5 that I think you should consider. And it really comes down to the grip itself. The Glock factory grip, and this is basically a good representation of a factory grip, is a little bit blocky and funky in a sense, in the sense that if you shoot it a bunch, you're going to get a callus right here, which is called a Glock knuckle, and it's a little slippery. If the more you use it, the actual plastic becomes to the point where it's not quite as tactile as it could be or should be for your accuracy. Now let's say, I'm going to take that one step further. Accuracy starts with your grip. If, as you shoot, with the recoil of the gun, the vibration of the gun slides around any bit, that's going to affect your accuracy and your speed, because if you shoot at really high levels and fast, you know when you bring the gun out in the presentation, the sights are pre-aligned, and because of that, you're trusting your practice that the sights are already lined up, and as you thrust the gun out, you can squeeze the trigger right away and double tap and go to the next target. While you'll definitely be spot checking the sights, you're really relying on the grip and your presentation to point the gun at the direction that you're looking, and using that as your accuracy versus staring at the sights continuously, because that's too slow. So if you want higher speeds, you got to just rely on the fact that the sights are lined up as you come out to full presentation. So if the gun's moving, if the grip is not secure, either by your hand or the fact that it's slippery or you can't get up on top of it, then you're going to have accuracy problems. So that said, I'm willing to say one other thing about the Glock. In my opinion, the Glock grip and the way it's shaped and the relationship of the grip to the barrel is the best, I mean, without a doubt, the best design for any handgun. This gun, this Glock, as it stands right now, is much more pointable than any other handgun. But how can we improve it? And I'm going to show you exactly how. So keep in mind, as you point your finger, that's very instinctive. Anybody out here watching this video can point their finger at probably any object 25 yards away and be pretty darn accurate. You can do the same thing with a Glock, because the Glock allows you to grab the gun and point your finger and really keep that gun pointed in that right direction. With a little bit of practice, you can really become super accurate with this. To make it better, here's what we like to do. One, we can do some fancy stuff on your grip itself. This is a laser etched pattern with some hand stippling that allows you to get much more, tactical grip on there, that it really grabs hold of your hand. Okay, that's one way to do it. The other thing that we do that is super important in my mind is what we call our Glock knuckle cut. Remember I talked about the Glock knuckle, you get that? Well, what this allows you to do is to kind of eliminate that wear and tear on your knuckle there, and also get a higher grip on the gun. The higher grip you get, the more control you have. The gun recoils, and because of that recoil, the higher up you are, the more you can control that slide action. So the ability to get higher up with this simple little cut that we do on your grip really makes sense. Now the other one in front is what we call the trigger finger undercut. So you just go basically, or finger undercut and trigger undercut. And so you basically come right under here, and that just gives you a place to rest your offhand. But what I find is important, it gives you a place that's consistent and you know where you're at. So you're always in the same spot. So it's very important that you work on consistency with your grip, and we're talking about grip improvements, and these two are very inexpensive, very simple, but very effective. Now, we talked about the gun itself slipping around. This is one way to give yourself a little bit more traction or more grip surface so that your hand does not slip around in shooting. Another way to do that would be, and a simple way to do that, is just a simple Falcon grip. And these are just skateboard tape that's pre-cut, and then you apply it to the frame. So this gun I've had these grips on here for a couple years now, and they still give me a nice, good, solid grip. And this gun I've shot a lot of people have handled at shows, and they're still, you know, very viable, and they're got enough traction on it so they're not going to move out of my hand. So that's one way to go ahead and easy. These are like $10. I mean, so it's an easy way to get a better grip on your Glock, and they're pre-cut for all different models. Another way would be our silicon carbide grip. And this is like Velcro. And I say that because once you get on it, it doesn't come off. I mean, you get on it, you're not going to move around there without, you know, taking some skin off your hand. So it really is a great option. Now, something we do in-house here, you have to send your gun to us, and we do it. It's a little bit more expensive than your $10 job, but it's way more effective. I mean, it really feels great. Looks pretty awesome too. This one is a gun we shoot. So you can see it's got a little bit of wear and tear on it, but it is effective in the sense that when you get on it, it stays and it won't move. You'll also notice, because it's a gun we shoot, we've got our finger, our Glock knuckle and our trigger undercut here, because we not only do we sell these things, we actually use them and we believe in them, okay? Because these things are what work to give you a better grip, which is going to translate to better accuracy and faster times, without a doubt. So if you're thinking of an upgrade that's relatively inexpensive, all these little grip upgrades I just showed you are relatively inexpensive. This is probably the easiest way to do it and get started. But at the end of the day, if you're serious about shooting your Glock, all 5 of the things I've just shown you are going to help you get more out of your gun and shoot better, shoot faster, shoot more accurately. And that's what we're all about here at the GlockStore. I'm Lenny Magill. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being a customer. And if you're in San Diego, and soon to be Nashville, make sure you drop by the store. You can test all this stuff out, put it in your own hands, and see for yourself how good it will work for your Glock. We'll see you next time.